We are here for goodness sake. Hello family, this is Carol Wirth with Paul LLC and welcome to the Goodness Forum YouTube series and podcast where goodness and positivity are openly discussed and amplified. Thank you for tuning in. This is our 12th episode of the first season and it's our final episode, and we have a special guest who has sent two of her envoys, Milo, you can see, and this beautiful impatiens. So the topic today is who loves you? And of course, our guest is Mother Nature, which includes all the plants, the animals, the sky, the rivers, and the water. Of course, we couldn't have all of that on today, and really we couldn't be speaking directly, but you can get it. That really who loves you is all of nature, including all the animals. And so talk about spreading goodness and positivity. It doesn't take much to see that the natural world is so loving and so pulling for us. So that's the topic today, and that's really the guest, is wherever you go, you look and see that nature is right there with you. So the quote, the topic is who loves you, and the quote is a quote from George Washington Carver, and here's the quote. I love to think of nature as an unlimited broadcasting station through which God speaks to us every hour if we will only tune in. And George Washington Carver was a really amazing human being. He was born a slave and became a free person, and he was an amazing scientist and botanist, and he did an immense amount of research, in particular the most famously for peanuts and the different things that can be done with that crop. And he was really instrumental in developing different crops as an alternative to cotton and things of that nature. But really he was such an incredibly loving human being, and he was very connected to God and a very spiritual man. And if you read anything about him, he was an extraordinary person. And so I love that quote, because really nature does always speak to us if we're willing to listen. And I would invite you to recognize that nature really is not oblivious to us. If you go out in nature, even if you go out into your backyard or take a walk around your neighborhood and simply look up at the sky or look at the rivers or the water in any form, you look at the plants growing in the cracks of the sidewalk, it speaks to life. It speaks to the goodness that is everywhere present and the love that is always supporting you, that is in fact your true essence. And so today we celebrate that, and we celebrate you and the love that you are and the goodness that you spread everywhere that you go. You have but to look for it, you'll find it. And you'll absolutely share your own love and goodness and positivity, that as you give, you receive, and not only in kind, but amplified. And so we also want to take a moment to just acknowledge all of the guests that we've had here on the Goodness Forum thus far. So our first guest was Wayne and Jordan with Relentless Evolution, doing magnificent things with people in the physical realm, but also just spreading their own love and positivity. And Dave, who is an incredible stand for people at the hospital, Sacred Heart Hospital, where he volunteers thousands of hours and makes a difference. And Nikki with her podcast and her trauma-informed yoga that is offered on a donation basis to young women, and she goes into schools and does that for free. And Mary Sunshine with her blog and her magnificent way of being, and her contribution as a mother in Listen to Your Mama. And Heidi, who is sharing love and positivity there at Starbucks and everywhere she goes. A cup of joy, Heidi. And PJ, our magnificent young man who is an artist in the realm of children's books. And I just spoke to PJ yesterday, and he's in the process of working with an illustrator to get his books out there. And Brian and Millie, both who also work at Starbucks and are best day ever, and Millie, who absolutely is a stand for the authenticity of yes meaning yes and no meaning no. And then there's Heather, amazing Heather, who is a Spartan coach and a metaphysician in and of her own right, a spiritual leader with the people she works with. And Rick, our wonderful boxing coach, who works with youth who are oftentimes underserved. And so we thank you. And Cindy, who works with our older population and is joyous and absolutely a stand for them. And then, of course, our Mother Nature. We thank all of these, and we thank you for being a part of this. And we invite you to join us again for the Goodness Forum, our second season, which will start in June, where you get an opportunity to meet more ordinary, extraordinary people who are doing extraordinary good and spreading positivity. We thank you, we love you, and we'll see you next season.